land for a couple reasons. One, we just really like the color and the approach to our house, but traditionally they were used to indicate insects attacking the vineyard. They'd attack the roses a couple weeks early. So, right now I'm just working on irrigation, weeding, pruning, getting ready for harvest. Want to make sure all the emitters are getting water to the plant. So, just tidying up. 1.5 rows to go now.
Out of how many?
68. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll mow, and then I'll be good to go.
Mowed the last time before harvest?
Yeah. Then I'll just water a little bit. We don't want to overwater now because we don't want the berry clusters to get too tight, you know, as the grapes swell up. This one's not too bad. So we'll cut down our watering in the next few weeks to keep the clusters a little bit loose.
Let them breathe.
Let them breathe.
So this is a refractometer, and you put the juice from the grape in here, or your clusters or your juice that you've pressed in here. You close it and you get it up to the light. I like outside natural light. Just fell off. And you look, and inside, I wonder if I could see it inside for you. Anyways, it shows all these little numbers from 0 all the way to like 35. And you'll see half the screen will be blue and half the screen will be clear, and it will show like if it's on 20, 18, or 19. Okay, so the reason we care about sugars is what converts into alcohol in wine, and different winemakers have different levels of sugar that they strive for, that they want. They also want to know pH and some other chemistry involved with what's happening in the vineyard. But yeah, sugars turns to alcohol, so if you have real high sugars, like at 29 or 30, you have a higher alcohol content, usually, on your wine. And dessert wines are made after harvest. There's a late harvest dessert wine, means we've had port makers come out to our vineyard after all said and done, and they poke around and they're like, we'll buy what we can harvest and make some port. And we're like, okay, cool. So if there's some fruit left, they'll make some dessert wine with it. So right now I'm just testing individual berries just to get a feel for the vineyard, lots of different spots all over the vineyard. And then I just keep taking little pieces and samples and clusters. And at the end, I'll smush them all up. When my kids were little, they liked smushing them all up with their hands. Let it sit for a few minutes all together, and then we'll test that juice. And that's what I email to my winemakers. And I kind of check all the different berries as I'm collecting, just to see if the numbers are consistent, and to kind of make sure it's kind of a checks and balances thing, so that my end juice number isn't way off. I know I'm in there, and the vineyard's maturing and ripening, hopefully, as a whole.
Talk about that.
I'm cleaning off the refractometer so that I'm not getting testing results from a previous berry, so that I will surely find out the sugar of this actual berry. All right, on the money for 20. Right on the money for 20. Didn't mean to rhyme. Not that. Some in. And do a whole cluster. I don't want to. Grapes. Okay, we got no sugar in the water. That's good. Take a cluster. It's really hard because you don't want to pick one that looks super ripe. Otherwise you'll ruin your data, but you don't want to pick one that looks green and you have fights with yourself and you can't decide what to do. Somewhere in the middle. Okay, this is a cluster. Big test. Berry test. Berry test. I've got a 20. I've got a 20 for sugars. Well, we want to pick at 27 or 26. I'm going to call the winemakers at 23. 25. I like 25, 26, 27, something like that. Well, this says 18. That's not good. I like 20 better. Okay, we can move. Farmers, we end up doing everything at once, which probably isn't always ideal. This is 21, almost 22. There's 19. 19. Walk. So I'm out testing sugars today with my refractometer, and I'm cruising around the vineyard trying to get little samples from all over the vineyard, kind of stop every 5 rows, grab a little here, grab a little there. I keep testing individual berries, get a feel for how get a range of what's happening in the vineyard for the numbers. You know, I have some fruit that's at 18 sugars, I have some fruit that's at 21 sugars, so that gives me a range, an idea. But at the end, I'm going to take all my berries and smush them together from all over the vineyard and kind of make a juice, and then test that, and then I'll email the winemakers and start a dialogue, since it's September 3rd, I believe, of what's happening in the vineyard, how the fruit's looking. Just start the dialogue so we can get ready for harvest. We're probably at least 3 to 4 weeks out, probably, if the sugars are at 20, because we want to. My winemakers like harvesting right around 25, 26, maybe 27. Depends what they're feeling like this year. They'll come out themselves and test whenever they want, but my emails kind of give them an idea of what's happening, so it helps them know what they were looking for when they come, and then they say when we harvest. And then I get a crew together and we meet out here.
Where is here?
Here is Sunset Ridge Vineyards in Paso Robles, California. My family, we have 5 acres of Petit Syrah. Squishing the grapes, getting the juices going. You know, you saw Lucille Ball, right? Squishing the grapes with her feet. I'm using my hand.
Toe jam.
No. See the juice coming out? You can see the color. So, I forgot to show you seeds. I'm not even hardly looking at seeds right now, because later when we get close to the sugars, we want to see these seeds. We want to see these more brown. A little more brown.
Up here, right?
We want to see these seeds a little more brown when ripening isn't just the sugars, it's also the maturity of the grapes. And we want to see these seeds nice and brown, and when you would bite into it, it's kind of almost like a nutty texture. This one's turning brown, but you still see a lot of green there. But I'm not even worried about the seeds yet, because I know we're not there. In 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be looking at the seeds as well as measuring the sugars. Okay, so I'm going to squish this around a little bit. Still squishing. Very sticky job. I'm going to get my refractometer with my non-sticky hand. Rinse it in some water. Make sure it's reading 0 sugars before I start. In some sun. It'll work this way. I've got 2 sugars. I got to rinse it better. Water should have no sugar. Better. Air dry a little bit and stick it down in the juice. 20. It's actually moving a teeny bit as I speak. 20 to 21. So that's great. It's the higher end of all the ones I sampled in the vineyard. Yay, 20 is good for right now. September 3rd, 20. I'll take it.